You know the feeling, right? That sink that drains just a little too slowly, or that dripping faucet that becomes the only thing you can hear it to in the morning. You figure, it's probably just a simple clog. But what if I told you there was a much, much bigger story unfolding, right inside the walls and under the floors of your home?
What if the real bad guy here isn't a worn-out washer, but a force of nature that's working against your house from the moment you step outside your front door?
All right, to get to the bottom of this, we're going to head to a very specific place where this battle is raging every single day. We're looking at a fascinating case study, Palmdale, California. It's a city way out in the high desert, and what its plumbing system goes through, well, it reveals a hidden war that might just be happening in your own home too. So let's pull back the curtain and unmask the invisible forces at war with our homes. We're going to break it down into three main antagonists, if you will, that are on a relentless mission to wreak havoc, using Palmdale as our guide.
First up, antagonist number one, the pressure of extremes. And yeah, we are literally talking about the weather. In a place like the high desert, the climate isn't just something you make small talk about. It's an active, powerful force that is physically wearing down your house.
Think of this as a non-stop, year-round assault. In the summer, you've got that brutal desert heat, pushing past 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This causes your pipes to expand. It's called thermal expansion. But then, come winter, temperatures can plunge below freezing, causing those exact same pipes to shrink back down. This constant cycle of swelling and contracting, it's like a brutal stress test on every single joint and seal in the system, slowly but surely weakening everything until, one day, pop.
All right, let's move on to our second bad guy. This one is the invisible intruder. It's a problem you can't see with your own eyes, but trust me, your appliances can definitely feel it.
The culprit here is something called hard water scale. See, the water in places like Palmdale comes from sources like the Mojave Desert Aquifer, and it is just packed with minerals. We're talking calcium and magnesium. And when that water flows into your house, those minerals, they don't just pass on through. Nope, they decide to stick around, building up layer after layer after layer.
So how does this actually work? Honestly, the best way to think of it is like cholesterol in an artery. First, that mineral-heavy water gets into your plumbing. Then, those deposits start clinging to everything, the inside of pipes, and even worse, the heating elements in your appliances. Over time, the flow of water gets more and more restricted. Your appliance's efficiency just tanks, and eventually, the whole thing is literally choked from the inside out. And here's where it really hits home, the real-world cost. Your water heater is a huge victim. That sediment builds up, forcing it to work harder until it overheats and fails. Your faucets and shower heads get clogged up, which is why your water pressure suddenly stinks. And those expensive appliances, your dishwasher, your washing machine, they can die years before they're supposed to. It's a slow, silent, and incredibly expensive process. And that brings us to our final antagonist, one that might already be hiding inside your house, a legacy in the walls. This is all about how the construction choices made decades ago are creating massive plumbing emergencies today. You see, a ton of homes in Palmdale went up during a huge building boom back in the 80s and 90s. And back then, builders often used materials like galvanized pipes, which we now know corrode from the inside out. They also used polybutylene supply lines, which get super brittle over time and can just fail, catastrophically, without any warning. The real problem? All these materials in all these houses are reaching the end of their lifespan at the exact same time. It's a ticking time bomb for entire neighborhoods. And hey, don't just take my word for it. As the source material points out, many homes from the 1980s and 1990s use materials and methods that don't hold up to the desert climate. It's the absolute perfect storm of a harsh environment meeting old, failing infrastructure. So, with all these invisible forces constantly on the attack, what in the world are you supposed to do? How do you fight back against an enemy you can't even see? Well, the modern response is all about learning to see the unseen.
This is where technology totally changes the game. I mean, instead of just sitting around waiting for a pipe to burst, a modern plumber's toolkit is all about being proactive. They've got tiny cameras they can snake down your pipes to see what's really going on. They do pressure tests to find hidden leaks. They use thermal imaging to spot problems behind your walls without having to tear them open. It's amazing stuff.
And all that tech makes an incredibly powerful case for proactive care. I mean, just look at the difference. Being proactive means lower, predictable costs and preventing damage before it happens. An emergency repair? That's high, unexpected costs, massive water damage, and a whole lot of stress. It is literally the difference between a scheduled appointment and a middle-of-the-night catastrophe.
Okay, so you might be thinking, this is all very interesting, but I don't live in a desert town in California, so what does this have to do with me? Well, here's where we zoom out and start applying these exact same lessons to your front door.
Because here is the big, crucial takeaway. The Palmdale antagonists, that trio of climate, water, and history, they aren't unique to the desert. They are absolutely everywhere. They just show up in different forms. Every single home is in a constant battle with its own local environment. So I want you to think about your own home story. What's your local climate really like? Are you fighting high humidity and rust, salty coastal air, or maybe deep, hard freezes every winter? And what about your water? Do you know if it's hard or soft or maybe even acidic? And really think about your home's age and history. When was it built? What materials were the go-to back then? Was your neighborhood part of one of those rapid construction booms where things might have been rushed?
Every little gurgle from the drain, every drip from the faucet, it's all part of a much larger narrative. Your home's plumbing is telling a story. It's a story about your climate, your home's past, and its future. So the real question is, what is yours saying?